Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today we are finally going to be getting a look at Wolfenstein II, the new Colossus, which just came out yesterday on the PC. If you do want to pick it up, you can get it over on CD Keys right now for around $38. I'll be sure to leave my affiliate link down in the description below if you want to pick it up over there and save yourself some money. I really loved the last Wolfenstein game, the reboot, as well as the expansion that they came out with the Old Blood, and then Doom last year, which is also from Bethesda, same engine as this here, id Tech 6. They are using Vulkan this time by default, which is great. It's just the built-in API that it just runs as soon as you start the game up, so I wanted to focus on the performance with that, especially on Vega. I would do a standard performance review on this game, but it's become rather difficult, and I'll briefly explain why. It's mostly because of the fact that it uses Vulkan. So while Vulkan is awesome for people that want to play games, it's incredibly difficult for someone like me, a reviewer, to actually benchmark on Vulkan because none of the programs that we use really work with Vulkan. Like all of the traditional capture softwares and benchmarking utilities like Fraps, Mirrorless Action, all of those programs, none of them really work with trying to get averages, minimums, max frame rates, recording frame times, and all of that on Vulkan titles. So it's very difficult to benchmark a game like this. And even recording it, I had some difficulties with that as well. I had to use a hardware capture solution to be able to get the gameplay recorded on this because I was having issues with Radeon Relive in this particular title. Shadowplay wasn't an issue, but Relive would only work if I had the game in windowed mode, and I had to tab out and start recording the desktop and then play in windowed mode. So it was really weird to try to get anything actually even recorded in this game, let alone benchmarking it. So I'm not doing a traditional performance review for this game, but you shouldn't really have any concerns about it anyway because the game runs fantastic. It's so well optimized. It is just a breath of fresh air, kind of like Doom last year when they got their Vulkan update and the game just ran like greased lightning. I love this API so much, and I wish more developers were using it. And you'll be seeing the gameplay on your screen right now with RX Vega 56 with the latest drivers and everything, playing at 1440p on the highest available preset in the game. So I'm going to show you the graphics options menu, and then we'll let some more gameplay run here. And I do have a side-by-side comparison with the Vega 56 and the GTX 1080. So right now in the options menu, I'm on a custom quality profile, but really I'm using the highest setting with a different form of anti-aliasing. So for the different presets, and I love these by the way, they've got low, medium, high, ultra, okay, ultra, I gotcha. Then they've got Uber, which is amazing. And then Mein Leben.
Mein Leben, mein Leben, mein Leben.
Mein Leben, which is German for my life. If you are a classic fan of the old Wolfenstein games, like Wolfenstein 3D, like I was, that is the first FPS game I ever played. And for many people of my generation, it is the first FPS you ever played because it was the groundbreaker. It was, what was there before anything else. So that is definitely a callback to those games. Is when you would kill some of the Nazis in that title, they would just shout out "Mein Leben," which I remember as a child thinking it meant my head. And I used to think, oh, I got a headshot. I got a headshot. Even though it didn't matter where you really aimed in that game, it's just you just aim in the general direction and they died. So yeah, it doesn't mean my head, it means my life. But I remember as like a 6-year-old kid playing Wolfenstein 3D, I thought it meant my head. But yeah, it doesn't. But so yeah, those are the presets they've got in this game. They do have ultra-wide support, so you can play 21:9 if you want. Runs great in 21:9. The menus are pillar boxed, but in the actual game, it's 21:9, so that's awesome. We do have VSync off, so you can have a completely uncapped frame rate, although in the options menu, it does lock it down to 60. And then for anti-aliasing, if you use the Mein Leben preset, which I'm on right now, it goes up to TSSAA8TX, which is a hell of a mouthful. But I opted to use just SMAA, which is my favorite form of anti-aliasing, so that's why I'm using that. And we do also have advanced options in here, which they warn you before you go in there. It might impact your performance or cause some artifacts. The main one really being the field of view slider, which by default is at 90. So it's nice that it's in there, but they do say that it could cause some issues. I've been using it at 90 because that's primarily what I use anyway in any game. But if you try to change it, they give you another notice again, don't move this, otherwise you may get some artifacts in your game. But yeah, it goes up quite high, all the way up to 120, and down as low as 70. So good range on there. But, you know, it may have, maybe it'll have some clipping with some animations and things like that, maybe climbing ladders. I'm not really sure, but that's probably what they're talking about, is some objects might not look right if you change the field of view, because they probably optimized it for 90, which is great for me because that's what I use anyway. And then these are all the settings we've got in here. We've got lights, shadows, particles, directional occlusion, reflections, decals, motion blur, image streaming, water quality, volumetric quality, material anisotropic filtering. We've got decal filtering, light map anisotropic filtering, image anisotropic filtering, LOD switch, deferred rendering, GPU culling, which I have turned off right now on this system because I'm on an NVIDIA system, but when I was testing on AMD cards, I did have GPU culling enabled, and we did have async compute turned on as well. I had chromatic aberration turned off. I don't know why it was on there, probably because I was messing with the presets. And yeah, other than that, we've got depth of field anti-aliasing, HDR bloom, sharpening, film grain, which I disabled, resolution scaling is nice that you can do that, and you can show your full performance metrics like you're seeing in the top right corner of the screen. You can do that at full, ultra, verbose, minimal, FPS only, or you can turn that off completely. So if you want to get rid of it, you can. If you want to have verbose, what is verbose? That's just that. I like the full one. I like having all of that data up there, which is very nice. So yeah, those are all the settings that you got in this game. Lots of graphics options to get in there and tweak, but I was running this on even the RX 580, and it was perfect. Like at 1440p, LEBEN settings maxed out completely. I was getting like 80 to 100 FPS on the RX 580, so no issues at all running this game on mid-range cards. The 1060 and 580, both of them can handle 1440p completely maxed out, well over 60 FPS. So I wouldn't worry about performance on this game, honestly, if you're thinking about picking it up. And as far as gameplay is concerned, I mean, just look at the reviews. It's like 10 out of 10s across the board because it is just that good. The last Wolfenstein game they did was incredible. This is kind of building on that, and they've made it even better. The voice acting, the story, the gunplay is just great. You can jib enemies now. Like I killed one Nazi, like I shot his leg off at the knee, and he kind of limped for 1 second and then fell over, and it just looked so good, like while it was all happening. Like I feel bad for kind of ogling at death and dismemberment, but it looks so good, and it's fun as well. Like the gunplay is fun. You can dual wield. Just, yeah, I'm loving the shit out of this game. I'm going to go back to playing it as soon as I get this video posted for you guys. But I just wanted to put up something on this game because I know people are going to be wondering, like, oh, can I run it? Can I run it? Like, yeah, you can probably run it, bro. If you've got a graphics card from the past few years, you could definitely run this game because it's super duper optimized, and you've got a ton of options in here. If it's not running well on your system, that you could scale it and hopefully get better performance if you're not getting 60 FPS for some reason. Because, yeah, like I said, all of the testing I was showing you here, that was 1440p maxed out. So at 1080p, obviously, the performance is just going to be that much better. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. Once again, if you do want to pick up Wolfenstein II, the new Colossus, I'll leave a link over to CD keys down in the description below. Only $38 there right now, so you're saving about $22 if you pick it up there instead of Steam. On Steam, it's a full $60 game, which some people might think is a lot for a single-player only game where the campaign is about 12 hours long, depending on the difficulty you play on and, you know, the pace at which you go and all of that. So $60 is a lot for a single-player game with only 12 hours, but it's such a good game that I think it's totally worth $60, or getting it cheaper on CD keys for like $38 is fine as well. So yeah, definitely pick this game up if you have a chance, either now or maybe down the road if there's a nice sale on Steam. This is something that you should definitely put on your list of games to play here in 2017. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. I will catch you in the next video, and if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Leave a like on it down below. Subscribe if you're not already, and I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I'll catch you on Monday. Ta-ra.